everyone, good morning. Oh, hello everyone, good morning. This is Sandy Levesque, Think and Grow Rich Daily Hangout here. Hi Glenn.
Good morning.
Morning.
Having a little some internet issues, huh?
Yeah, it's I just had to restart my modem because I was even supposed to do an interview last night
I
with
saw
someone
that.
I really look up to,
Yeah.
and my internet connection dropped twice, so we had to abandon it. And I thought it would be okay today. You know, when you go to sleep, you mysteriously hope everything will fix itself. And I think I've just
Well,
fixed it though by just restarting the modem.
we'll have a
So
little talk with you. We'll have a little talk with the universe about that, Sandy.
yeah, I know. Yeah, so I came down into the kitchen in the hopes that the connection might be better. So yeah. But I'm excited because today we're starting the lecture notes, and
Yeah.
the first time I read the one we're about to read, I couldn't sleep one night, and I was living in France still, and I remember so clearly. I just turned on my computer because most of my books are on there, and so I thought I'll read something, and I had been sent these lecture notes a couple of weeks before, but I hadn't ever done anything with them, and I decided to read one. I could really feel I had to read some Napoleon Hill, and the notes were so inspiring. I literally I couldn't go to sleep afterwards because of being too inspired. So it had the reverse effect.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. And you're right. I mean, it's like it's a different frame of reference from the book itself, right? Because it kind of
yeah,
it's sort of an interpretive reference, I guess we might say, right? You know.
yeah,
Yeah, so it's
yeah,
kind of cool. It's kind of cool to do that, I think, to study these, you know.
exactly. Yeah, and
Would you
these
like
are
me to read
lectures.
today?
Yes, please. Mm,
Okay, I'll do that. And I
cool. Thank
guess if you drop off, well, you know, we may have to terminate, right? If we run into some serious internet problems where we hang up a lot, then
Yeah,
we'll just have to defer
yeah.
until, right, you know, or whatever, you
Until
know.
Monday. Yeah, and I'll have to get it fixed over the weekend. But I have a feeling it's working okay.
Good.
Um, yeah, I can see that the connection is stronger. So I think it's something's been fixed.
Yeah.
Um,
By the
yeah.
way, I enjoyed your dance with Chico. That
Oh
was
yeah,
sweet
yeah.
little.
That was yeah. When he wants something, he jumps up and he's very insistent. So I was making him dance, and he didn't seem to mind.
You know, I've been
Oh,
thinking about the fact that, you know, we rescued those two Maltese, which we dearly love now. But you know what, Sandy? I think they rescued us.
yeah. It's so
I
yeah. When
think
people
they
say
rescued us. You know that?
yeah, I
'Cause
agree.
I see dogs as an expression of God's love in our life every day, right? When you look at them and their unconditional love, I mean, you can't beat it.
Yeah,
It's wonderful.
it's a
Okay,
total joy.
I'll do the screen share on the
Okay,
notes. Okay,
cool. Thank you.
okay, and we're starting with one of nine.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, one of
And these
nine.
lecture notes are actually in the Facebook group for you guys watching. So you have uploaded them to the Facebook group. So and if you want to say thank you to the guy who put them together, his name's Andy Houseman. He has a YouTube channel. You can like pop over there. So thank you, Glenn. Go ahead.
Okay, everything clear? Is it big enough? Is it? Okay, good.
Maybe just a little bit bigger would be good, actually, because the words are a bit small.
How's that?
That's better. That's better. Yeah, like that.
Okay, so actually, this is titled "Your Right to Be Rich."
Yeah.
Okay, so it says we'll start right here. Let's break down the lesson on definiteness of purpose and see exactly what it means. Why it's the starting point of all achievement. Because it's the starting point of all individual achievements. A definite purpose must be accompanied by a definite plan for its attainment, followed by appropriate action. You have to have a purpose, you have to have a plan, and you have to start putting that plan into action. It's not too important that your plan be sound. You can always modify your plan. It is very important that you be definite about what it is you're going after. what your purpose is. That must be very definite. There can be no ifs or ands about it. Just to understand this philosophy or read it wouldn't be of much value to you. The value will come when you begin to form your own patterns out of this philosophy and put it in your daily lives or in your business or profession or in your human relations. That's where the benefits will really come. The second premise, all individual achievements are the results of a motive or a combination of motives. You have no right to ask anybody to do anything at any time without giving that person an edict with motive. The ability to plant in the mind of the prospective buyer an edict with motive for his buying, the ability to plant in the mind of the prospective buyer an edict with motive for his buying. Learning to deal with people by planting in their minds edict with motives for their doing the things you want them to do. There are a lot of people who call themselves salesmen who have never heard of the 9 basic motives, who do not know that they have no right to ask for a sale until they have planted a motive in the buying of the buyer for his buy. The third premise, any dominating idea, plan, or purpose held in the mind through repetition of thought. Any dominating idea, plan, or purpose held in the mind through repetition of thought and emotionalized with a burning desire for its realization is taken over by the subconscious section of the mind and acted upon through whatever natural and logical means that may be available. If you want the mind to pick up an idea and form a habit so that the mind will automatically act upon that idea, you've got to tell the mind what you want over and over and over again. No end to it. When Mr. Coué came up with his famous formula, day by day in every way I'm getting better and better, he cured thousands of people, but a very great number more that he didn't cure because there was no desire or no feeling put into that statement. You might as well blow in the wind as to make a statement unless you put some feeling into it, unless you believe it. Incidentally, if you tell yourself anything often enough, you'll get to where you will believe it, even a lie. There are people who tell little white lies, and sometimes they're not so white at that, until they get to where they believe it themselves. The subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between right or wrong. It doesn't know the difference between positive or negative. It doesn't know the difference between a penny or $1 million. It doesn't know the difference between success and failure. It'll accept any statement that you keep repeating to it by thoughts or by words or any other meanings. Incidentally, it's up to you in the beginning to lay out your definite purpose. Write it out so that it can be understood. Memorize it. Start repeating it day and day in and day out, until your subconscious mind picks it up and automatically acts upon it. This will take a little time. You can't expect to undo overnight what you've been doing to your subconscious mind bound through the years by allowing negative thoughts to get into it. You will find that if you emotionalize any plan that you send over to your subconscious mind and repeat it in the state of enthusiasm and back it up with a spirit of faith, if you do that, the subconscious mind not only acts more quickly, but it acts more definitely and more positively. The fourth premise, any dominating desire, plan, or purpose which is backed by that state of mind known as faith is taken over by the subconscious section of the mind if acted upon immediately. That state of mind is the only state of mind that will produce immediate action to the subconscious mind. When I say faith, I don't have a reference to wishing, hoping, or mildly believing. I don't have reference to any of those things. I have a reference to a state of mind wherein whatever it is that you're going to do, you can already see it. You can already see it already in a finished act before you even begin it. I can truthfully tell you that not ever in my whole life have I undertaken to do anything that I didn't do unless I got careless in my desire to do it. I have never failed to do anything I made up my mind to do. You can put yourself into a frame of mind where you do whatever you make up your mind to do unless you weaken as you go along, as so many people do. Even if you do understand faith, if you don't back it up with action and make it part of your habit life, you might just as well not understand it, because faith without deeds is dead. Faith without action is dead. Faith without absolute positive belief is dead. I don't know how you're going to get any results through believing unless you put some action back in that belief. Incidentally, if you tell your mind often enough that you have faith in anything, The time will come when your subconscious mind will accept that, even if you tell your mind often enough that you have faith in yourself. Have you ever thought what a nice thing it would be if you had such complete faith in yourself that you wouldn't hesitate to undertake anything you wanted to do in life? Have you ever thought about what a benefit that would be to you? Do you know how many people there are who sell themselves short all the way through life because they don't have the right amount of confidence, let alone faith? Napoleon to his audience. Give a guess as to the percentage. Audience number 98. Napoleon is somewhere between 98 and 100. The margins who do are so small that I wouldn't begin to guess exactly what it is. They accept from life whatever life hands them. Isn't it strange how nature works? She gives you a set of tools, everything you need to attain all that you can use or aspire to have in this world. She rewards you bountifully for accepting those tools. That's all you have to do. Accept them and use them. She penalizes you beyond compare if you don't accept them and use them. Nature hates vacuums and idleness. She wants everything to be in action. Especially does she want the human mind to be in action. The mind is not different from any other part of the body. If you don't use it, if you don't rely upon it, it withers away and finally gets to where anybody can push you around. Anybody. Oftentimes, you don't have the willpower to resist or even protest when people push you around. The fifth premise, the power of thought, is the only thing over which any human being has complete, unquestionable means of control. A fact so astounding that it connotes a close relationship between the mind of man and infinite intelligence. There are only 5 known things in the whole universe. Those 5 have shaped everything in existence, from the smallest electrons and protons of matter on up to the largest sun that floats out there in the heavens, including you and me. Just 5 things. There's time and there's space. There's energy and there's matter. And those 4 things would be no good without the 5th thing. Everything would be called chaos. We couldn't never have existed without that 5th thing. It's a universal intelligence. It reflects itself in every blade of grass, everything that grows out of the ground, and all of the electrons and protons of matter. It reflects itself in space and time and everything that is there. There's intelligence operating all the time. The person who is most successful is the one who finds ways and means of appropriating most of this intelligence through his brain and putting it into action. This intelligence permeates the whole universe, space, time, matter, energy, and everything else. Every individual has the privilege of appropriating through his own use as much of this intelligence as he chooses. He can only appropriate it by using it. Just understanding it or believing it is not enough. You've got to put it into specialized use into some form. Follow this blueprint. Don't just pick out that part of it which you like best and discard the others. Take it all as is. I'm going to take a sip here. The 6th premise. The subconscious section of the mind appears to be the only doorway of individual approach to individual intelligence. Study that language very carefully. I said it appears to be. I don't know if it is. I doubt if you do. I doubt if anyone knows definitely. The basis of approach is faith based upon definiteness of purpose. Do you have any idea why it is that you don't have as much confidence in yourself as you should have? Have you ever stopped and thought about that? Have you ever stopped to think about why it is when you see an opportunity come along, you begin to question your ability to embrace it and use it? Doesn't it happen every day? If you had a chance to be closely associated with people who are very successful, you'll know that there is one thing that they are not bothered by. If they want to do something, it never occurs to them that they can't do it. I hope that in your association with Napoleon Hill Associates, you come to know my distinguished business associate, Mr. W. Clement Stone, better, because if I ever saw a man who knows the power of his mind, that is willing to rely upon that mind, Mr. Stone is that man. I don't think Mr. Stone has any worries. I don't believe he would tolerate a worry. I think it would be an insult to his intelligence if he recognized anything was worrying him. Why? Because he has confidence in his ability to use his mind and to make that mind create the circumstances that he wants created. And that's the condition and operation of any successful mind. That's going to be the condition of your mind when you get through with this philosophy. You're going to be able to project your mind into whatever objective you choose And there'll never be any question in your mind as to whether you can do what you want to do or not. Never a question in the world. The first radio and broadcasting receiving set was the one that exists in the brain of man. Not only does it exist in the brain of man or woman, does it exist in the brain of man or woman, but it exists in a great many animals. Napoleon had a couple of Pomeranian dogs. They knew exactly what he was thinking, sometimes before even he knew. They were so smart. They knew when he went for a car ride whether or not they were going without saying a word, because the dogs were in constant attunement with him. Your mind is sending out vibrations constantly. If you're a salesman and you're going to call on a prospective buyer, the sales ought to be made before you ever come into the presence of the buyer. Have you ever thought of that? If you're going to do anything that requires the cooperation of other people, condition your mind so that you know the other fellow is going to cooperate. Why? First, because the plan you're going to offer him is so fair, honest, and beneficial to him that he can't refuse it. In other words, you have a right to his cooperation. You'd be surprised to know what a change there will be in people when you convince them that over this broadcasting station of yours, positive thoughts instead of thoughts of fear. If you want a good illustration of how this broadcasting station works, you need $1,000 real badly. You go down to the bank somewhere, and you've got to have that $1,000 by the day after tomorrow, or they're going to take the car back or the furniture or something else. You just have to have that $1,000. The banker can tell the moment you walk in that door that you just have to have it, and he doesn't want you to have it. Isn't that funny? No, it's not funny. It's tragic. You carry the matches around your pocket that often set your own house on fire. Napoleon used to teach salesmanship. He made his living that way for a long time while he was doing the research on this philosophy. If there's one thing that has to be sold, it's life insurance. Nobody ever buys life insurance. It has to be sold. The first thing he taught those people under his direction was that they must make the sale to themselves before they try to make it to the other fella. If they don't do that, they're not going to make a sale. Somebody might buy something from them, but they'll never make a sale unless they first make it to themselves. Every brain. Okay, go ahead, say.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to pause. So at the end, which page are you on, Glenn?
Okay.
Page 7. Yeah, we're up to page 7.
Page 7. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, we're both back on. Yeah. No, this is really good though, isn't it? I mean, it adds another dimension, more folk. I would say this is like the concentrated Think and Grow Rich. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, because and a lot of the language in this is after you've read the book. Now this kind of pops out more. You know what I mean? Because it's codified, right? It's already coded. You know, in a way that you get a lot out of it. You know.
Yeah, and it's been written by. It's important to note that this is based on lectures that Napoleon did. So it's someone from our time now who put together notes. So it is slightly easier to read perhaps because it's to understand because it's written in our kind of our way of speaking English, which is sometimes a little bit different.
Yeah.
And I just love the tool of auto-suggestion. As he was talking about at one point, you read about the subconscious and how it will take in whatever you constantly repeat. I'm just really seeing that that's so true. I've memorized the self-confidence formula and my personal statement, and this is the first time, for the past since June, end of June, I've been saying it every single day, and now I actually do it twice a day because I've memorized it, and I say it when I go for walks and it's just amazing. It does start to, each time you read it, even though it sounds weird that just reading words on a piece of paper could be this powerful, but I can really notice the difference because it does start to, the words take on more of a power each time you read them. And whereas in the beginning, I felt like nothing was happening, and I just wanted to make that point for anyone who's watching and who has started to do that exercise and then stopped after 2 weeks or thinks it's a bit outdated, or I would encourage you to go beyond that point where it feels annoying to do it. Like with any habit, the first 30 days are
Yeah.
usually the one we have the most resistance because it's a new thing, and the way our brain works, it just doesn't want to do it because it's something new.
Yeah.
And once you get past that, then it just becomes like brushing your teeth, and you feel weird if you don't do it. Like now, sometimes I forget, in the morning or something, and I suddenly think, oh my God, I didn't say my statement today, and
Yeah.
I'll just go out, and I like to go out, and I like to say it outside, just quietly under my breath. Like I look at the clouds, and if it's the night, I look at the stars, and I really feel like I'm not just saying it to myself. I'm saying it to the universe. I'm saying it to infinite intelligence, to all the things that Napoleon talks about in the book and here in the lecture notes. And I think that's also what gives it the power, because you're constantly reaffirming it.
Yeah.
And so, and the other thing I was going to add to that is that I've noticed that I was thinking about it today. I was like, maybe it's just a coincidence, but all these, I keep being drawn to watch webinars, or people have contacted me to interview me, and I feel like the things I need to get to my next target are being kind of put in my path, if that makes sense. Like I'm kind of attracting them to me,
Yeah.
and it's a really cool feeling when you sense that going on. Have you experienced that, Glenn, with anything before?
Well, I think, Sandy, in general, in my life, most of the time when you've set a goal or something like that, it unfolds, but it doesn't always unfold exactly the way you think it's going to unfold.
Yeah.
Like with those little dogs. A few months ago, I think after you and I had chatted for a while, I really got the urge to get some dogs again. So it turns out that we wound up rescuing a couple of dogs, and it happened so straight. It was just the way it happened, and all that's kind of a detailed little story, because my wife goes to the senior center here in Hendersonville, and she had a lady that went there, and she said, well, I've got a dog that the person just died, and we'd like to put up with you. And that was Muffy. That was the first dog we got. Well, it turns out that the family wanted that dog, so we had to relinquish that back to that family.
Oh,
Well, then
yeah.
the same lady that she was a caregiver, she had to go to a new job, and they would not accept her dogs, and so we wound up getting the dogs from her.
Ah,
And it had
oh,
them for 7 years, and that was a hard thing for her to give them up. I'm sure, and it was it was really a great thing, that she did do that. I mean, she knew that she had to do it, and she's
yeah.
given these dogs a wonderful life and enriched our lives now, right? So
Oh,
things won't always unfold exactly the way you think, but they do.
yeah.
They do unfold if you have that drive, right? If you have that desire. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
you know,
Yeah. And that's so
yeah.
funny, 'cause that's kind of what and isn't that amazing that the same woman who I just love how there's no coincidences, that you met her
Yeah.
at the time when
Oh,
you were looking
no.
for
Yeah.
dogs, and
Yeah.
yeah, and they
Yeah.
must be really happy now to be with you and Janet, because you
Yeah.
both have so much appreciation for them, and animals can sense that.
Yeah.
I,
And
I like
every
what
day
you said
you
about the
look
Pomeranian.
at them, and yeah, every day you look at them, and it enriches your spirit, right? And
Yeah.
by the way, coincidences. One thing that Greg had mentioned on one of the things he said. By the way, the word coin is in coincidences. Have you noticed that? Coin.
Ah,
The
yeah,
word
that's
coin.
true.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a discussion
Yeah,
on his website, about that.
yeah,
So very
exactly.
cool. Yeah. Yeah, but really, really, Sandy, Think and Grow Rich, and his book, Why Quantum Physicists Do Not Fail. There is really a technology to personal development, right? There is a technology when you underline the whole thing, when you think about it, right, at a very deep level, it's quite a thing.
Yeah, it's not just feel good stuff. Like sometimes
No,
people think that. Um,
no,
it's actually studying how the universe works. Why do things happen the way they do? It's like if you're a naturally curious person, um, then I think that's, I didn't. start out wanting to become a successful businesswoman or anything. I got drawn into personal development through curiosity more than anything, because I'd always been reading for a long time,
Yeah.
and I used to read lots of like easy philosophy books for kids, and I just used to be really interested by how things worked. And so it's that, it can just come from a curiosity and I think maybe an awareness that there are things at hand. Things don't just happen randomly or by chance, just happen to people, which is how I was brought up to see the world.
Yeah.
It's like, I think it's like becoming more awake. You start to realize, okay, hang on, I can actually control things here and have a direct say in what goes on. I don't just have to sit here and take whatever comes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what he's saying with the definiteness of purpose and having a plan and being willing to change the plan. So I think that's the cool thing, is when you realize that you don't have to know. It's like what you said, Glenn. We don't know how things will work out.
Right.
And when you realize that, sometimes you might think you've got the right plan, but then you get a new awareness that, okay, you need to tweak it and do it this way, or something doesn't work.
Be open to that, right?
Yeah, exactly. And the more you trust that process, the more information comes to you. Because I think it's like you're opening up to infinite intelligence and to crazy ideas and hunches, at 4 o'clock in the morning. Or and, like I had one yesterday, and I woke up this morning really excited because I was like, oh my goodness, it's exactly what I need to do. Yeah. And it was just a weird set of coincidences that led me to that, and I was like, that wasn't a coincidence. That was something going on there. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. So do you have a nice weekend planned? I mean, a little fun, or a little, kind of spiritual fun. Like we're gonna go and see Kandinsky today at the Frist Center for the Visual Arts downtown Nashville. Kandinsky, and that's from Centre Pompidou in Paris. That and the Guggenheim. Yeah, so we're looking forward to that. That's a nice spiritual reward, I would say, for a weekend thing, fun thing, so.
Exactly. Well, yeah, I'm going to Lisbon, into the capital, because I'm slightly outside of Lisbon, near the ocean. But there's a couple of things that I'm going to go to, one or the other. Actually, one's in a Goethe Institute, but I'm not sure. I don't think it's art. Well, not that I can't even remember. But some friends are organizing it.
Yeah.
And, and then
enriches the spirit, right? Restores the spirit too. Because you work hard, I can see your work. It's hard, hard work, you're doing. But
yeah, I was up till 5 a.m. today, finishing an ebook I've been writing because I really wanted to get it done. But it's good, when you're excited about what you do.
Yes.
I woke up excited, even though I only slept for 5 hours. So okay, and actually, quickly, Glenn, I was going to ask, what time? Just 1 second, sorry.
Yeah.
Hi. I'm just in the kitchen because the connection was dropping, so I'm almost finished. I'm on live. Okay. You're on Google. What was I going to say? Glenn, I saw that you voted for 9 a.m. Eastern as the time that suits you.
Which would be 8 a.m. our time, right? So.
Oh, okay, yeah, because you're 1 hour behind.
Yeah, but but I'm flexible, Sandy. So by that I mean like 8 or 9. 9 a.m. Eastern or 10 a.m. Eastern. Whatever works out best for most people. Because we do the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Those are my only real limitations because I'm basically retired and I work out of home anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Okay. I couldn't choose between 9 a.m. Eastern and 10. Oh, hang on. 10 is... Yeah, so I'm just hesitating between those two. So, okay, I'll have a think about it and post this weekend. So.
Oh, I love your water picture too.
Oh yeah, that was from Liga. Thank you, Liga, if you're watching. She
Yeah,
posted it on my wall for my birthday, and I was like, oh, I have to put that in the group. That's perfect
yeah.
because the water's got this gold aspect to it.
Yeah,
Hmm.
notice it's a draw for you, right? Water has always been a draw for you, right? It
Yeah,
has it
I
has
love it.
renewal properties, transformational properties. I mean, it's an amazing thing, you know.
True. Yeah, and my brother used to live. My younger brother used to live by the water in Brighton in England, and I would
Yes.
go and visit him quite often. And I just it was the first time I started to think, wow, I'd love to live by the sea because I'd always lived in towns very far from the sea, and he'd never used to go. He told me I never go. He would go like twice a year or something. I couldn't believe it. I go
Yeah.
like twice a day. um, but I better get off.
Yeah.
So great to see you, Glenn. Thanks for reading.
Good to see you too, Sandy.
Yeah, and I'll post about the new time.
Okay,
Uh,
great.
it'd be good to start it, I think, on Monday, just start with the new time and see how it goes.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, well, have a great one. Enjoy the exhibition, Kadinsky.
And you enjoy your trip to Lisbon. Have fun and
Thank
come
you.
back
Goodbye,
smiling on
everyone.
Monday.
Have a great weekend.
Okay, bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye.